Welcome back to On the Same Page. We are on Daf Chaf Aleph Amud Aleph 21a of Maseches Taanis. We are on the very top line of the page. At the end of the line it says Ilfa v'Rabbi Yochanan. Ilfa is the name of one of the Tanaim, one of the sages. He and Rabbi Yochanan Habugarsi be'oraisa. They were learning together, and Dechikaluhu Milsa, but they were learning so much and they weren't earning a living, and they reached a point they were in hard straits, difficult straits. They were poor. Dechikaluhu Milsa Tuva, they were very poor. So Amri, they said, Nekum Nezel V'Nezel V'Nei Aved Iska U'Nekayim B'Nafshin. Let's go into business, and that way we'll make some money and we'll support ourselves. And they quote the pasuk Efes Ki Lo Yeh B'cha Evyon. The pasuk says, the verse says in Dvarim Tesvav, it says there won't be any poor people because Hashem will bless you. They say let's ensure that that's the case, that we're not poor. Azlu Osvi Tuse Guda Re'iyah. They went and they were sitting under a wall that was weak. And I guess that's the connection to the previous Gemara. They were sitting under a weak wall. We talked about walls toppling last week. Havukakarchi Rifta. And they were breaking bread there. They were eating there. Asu Trei Malachi Asharis. 2 angels came. Shamei Rabbi Yochanan de Amar Chad Lechavre. And Rabbi Yochanan heard one of the angels say to the other, Nishti alayu hai guda v'niktalinu. Let's topple this wall, this weak wall, on top of these 2 sages. Shemenichin chaye olam haba ve'oskin b'chayisha. Because they are abandoning the world to come, life in the world to come, which can be achieved through Torah learning, and in favor of life in this world, in favor of supporting themselves. So let us topple this wall upon them. Temporary chayesha means like temporary life. So they're choosing something temporary over something that's eternal. So Amar le idach shavkinu. The other one said, no, we should leave them. De'ikka b'huchad de'kaima le shaita. Because one of these people is going to become very great. He will have his time, literally. He will become very great. It's not time for him to can't take him from this world yet. He is destined for greatness. Rabbi Yochanan Shama, Ilfa Lo Shama. Rabbi Yochanan heard this, but Ilfa didn't hear this conversation between the angels. Amar le Rabbi Yochanan le Ilfa. Rabbi Yochanan said to Ilfa, Shama mar midi? Did you hear anything? Amar le la. Ilfa said, no, I didn't hear anything. What are you talking about? So Rabbi Yochanan said, Mideshami ana ve'ilfa lo shama. From the fact that I heard the angels say this, and Ilfa did not hear them, Shma mina l'didi kaima li shaita. We can learn from here that it's me who's going to have his time. It's me who's going to become great. Amar le Rabbi Yochanan ihader ve'uki b'nafshay. Rabbi Yochanan said to Ilfa, let's go back and I guess support our souls. So let's go back and go back to learning, go back to spending, full time devoting ourselves to learning rather than being engaged in business. And he quoted the verse, Ki lo yachtal evyon mikarav haaretz. It says there will never cease to be poor people yet. We may be poor, but it's worthwhile to be poor and to learn Torah. Rabbi Yochanan hadar, Ilfa lo hadar. Rabbi Yochanan went back to learning, but Ilfa did not. Ilfa continued on in business. It's interesting. Well, Adasa Ilfa Malach Rabbi Yochanan. By the time Ilfa came back from all his business dealings, at that point Rabbi Yochanan had already, however much time, years had elapsed, Rabbi Yochanan became very great, and Malach, he was appointed to be literally the king, but what it means is he was appointed to be the Rosh Yeshiva, to head the yeshiva of their time. And Rashi says the minhag, the custom was that if somebody was appointed to a high position like that, they would also make sure that they were comfortable, and they would give him money and make sure he was respected in that way as well. So Amrulo, they said to Ilfa when he came back, Iyasim mar begaris lohav amalach mar. Had you sat and learned, then Rabbi Yochanan wouldn't have been the Rosh Yeshiva. You would have been. Some read it as like a bitmiya, as a question. If you had learned, wouldn't you have gotten this? Because Ilfa was actually smarter than Rabbi Yochanan, and had he dedicated himself, then he would have been the Rosh Yeshiva. But Rabbi Yochanan dedicated himself, and he became the Rosh Yeshiva. I wanted to point out, it's interesting, Rabbi Yochanan wouldn't have done this if not for the fact that he heard the angel say, this man, is destined for greatness. Sometimes a person doesn't realize what they're capable of until someone inspires them, and reminds them and tells them that, you too can be great. You too can accomplish a lot. And we see that got Rabbi Yochanan going here. And he only became the great Rabbi Yochanan, the great, I said Tana before, really, it's Amora, the great Amora Rabbi Yochanan, as a result of being inspired, in this case by the conversation that he overheard of two angels. So Ilfa heard this, and he wanted to prove that he was actually still, deserving and capable of being Rosh Yeshiva, even though he had gone into business. Azal Tala Nafshe Baskarya Disafinta. He went and he basically hung his life. He didn't hang himself and kill himself, but he we'll see what he says. He put his life on the line by going up onto the top, the mast of a ship. And Amar, and he said, if you can ask me a question from the teachings, the Braisas, collected by Rabbi Chia and Rabbi Oshia, and I don't back it up from a Mishnah, I will jump, I will fall from this mast of the ship, and I will drown myself. He said, I can prove to you that even though I went into business, I am still a great Talmid Chacham. And the way that I'm going to do that is if anyone can ask me, I'm willing to bet that nobody can trump me, nobody can ask me from a Brisa that I can't find a Mishnah that backs it up. This actually is very interesting because what he seems to be saying is that anything that you can find in the Brisas, which generally elaborate on the Mishnah, he's saying is actually encoded in the Mishnah itself. When Rabbi Yehuda Nasi collected the teachings that he made into the Mishnah, so there was nothing left out there. Everything can be found in there if you know how to look. That's essentially what Ilfa was saying. We have Brisas that expound on the Mishnahs, but really it's all in the Mishnah itself. So Asahu Saba, a certain old man came. Tanale, and he quoted a Brisa. The Brisa says as follows: Ha'omer tenu shekel lebanai b'Shabbos. If a person on his deathbed, he leaves basically a will, and in it he says that out of the inheritance, which is going to be distributed to my children, we're talking about seemingly where the children are not old enough to be in control of the money, but there's someone appointed, an apotropos, it's called, who's appointed to distribute the inheritance on with a weekly allowance. So if he says, give a shekel to my children each week, to nu shekel abanai b'Shabbos, v'hein ru'uyin lasis lahem sela, and really they need more. A shekel is half a sela. They really need a full sela to live. Nosnin lahem sela. Then we give them a sela, even though in his will, his instructions were that they should only receive a shekel per week. But because of the way that he said it, he said, give them a shekel. So the implication is that he wants them to have what they need, and you can actually give them the full sela. However, vim amar al titnu lahem ela shekel, but if he says only give them a shekel, don't give them more than a shekel, so then he's made it plain and clear that it's specifically a shekel. He doesn't want them to have more. Enostin lahem ela shekel, then you only give them a shekel. Right, in the first case, if he really wanted them to only get a shekel, he would have said, to only give them a shekel. But instead he said, give them a shekel. He didn't say give them a selah, but maybe that's because he wanted his kids to work a little bit and try to earn a little bit more. But really he's happy for them to have a selah. He just wants them to work a little bit more. But if he says only give them a shekel, or don't give them more than a shekel, then it's clear what he wants. That's all that's in. And we don't give them more than a shekel, we don't give them the full selah that they need. Ima Omar, and if he adds Mesu Yarshu Acherim Tachteim, if he says, and if they die, these children, then other people should get the money instead, and he designate who those other people should be. So then, Bein Shamar Tnu, Bein Shamar Al Titnu, Einosning Lahem Elo Shekel. Then whether he says don't give them more than a shekel, or whether he says give them a shekel, in either case we're not going to give them a selah. Because even though normally if he said give them a shekel, so again we said before that means we give them a selah because really he wants them to have, he just wants them to work a little bit, but he's happy for them to have a full selah. That's true if he doesn't share what his intention is if they don't get it. But if he does, what his intention is if they die. But if he shares what his intention is, if they die, give it to so-and-so, so now we see that he has an interest in those other people getting the money if his children die. So then we say, listen, he would like them, something to be left over for them if possible. So therefore when he said give his children a shekel, he really meant give them only a shekel, and we won't give them more than that per week. That was the brisa that this old man quoted to Ilfa, who's sitting on the mast of the ship, and Ilfa is being challenged, can you bring this out from a Mishnah? This is sort of an elaborate case. Do you see it anywhere in the Mishnah? So Ilfa said, absolutely. Amarle, he said, Hamani Remeir, who's this opinion of this price? That's the opinion of Remeir. De Amar, who says in a Mishnah in Meseches Gittin, actually in Meseches Ksubos, he says, maybe in Gittin as well, mitzvah lekayim divrei hames. Remeir says there's a mitzvah to fulfill the words of the dead. If not for the mitzvah, for this idea that it's a mitzvah, it's a commandment literally, that we're supposed to fulfill the will of the one who passed. Otherwise, these children have a right to inheritance. We should give them everything that they need. And nobody else has any rights. However, because we want to fulfill the words of the mace, of the person who died, that others should be able to inherit after his children, so we give his children less as a result. So, again, this has to be worked out. We can't circumvent the laws of inheritance, but this apparently under the laws of inheritance this would be allowed, and because it's only because mitzvah l'kaim divrei hames, says Ilfa. It's only because Remeir teaches that there's a mitzvah to fulfill the words of the person who died. So therefore, in this situation where he specified that if my children would die, I want them extra money to go to these other people. So then even when he says give my children a shekel, he didn't say make sure to only give them a shekel. He said give them a shekel. Normally we would say, okay, we could give them a full selah as they need, but if he designated where the money should go afterwards, then we don't do that, because clearly he's specific. He wants the allowance to be this in order that there should be enough money to go to other people in the event that his children die. That was what Ilfa said, and so Ilfa, I guess, in a way, proved himself that he really still knew a lot despite having gone into business. Again, the whole purpose of this story seems to be a digression from the fact that in the beginning, Ilfa and Rabbi Yochanan were sitting under a unsturdy wall. Okay, now the Gemara continues with another story. And again, this is going to involve like a unsturdy house, and that's going to be the connection. But it's a great story. In a way, a scary story, but Amaru Alav al Nachum Ish Gamzu. There was a person a great Tana named Nachum Ish Gamzu. Literally Nachum, the man of Gamzu, this too. We'll see where he got that name from soon. Shayasuma Mishtei Einav. He was blind in both his eyes. Gidei Mishtei Yadav, and he was crippled in both his hands. They were both cut off. Kita Mishtei Rago, both his legs were cut off. B'chol gufo malei shchin, and his body was covered in boils. Vayamutul b'bayis re'ua. And he was lying, right? He couldn't move, he had no legs, he had no arms. He was blind, and he was covered in boils, and he was lying in a bed in a bayis re'ua, in a weak, unsturdy house. V'ragli mitasim munachim b'safalin shel mayim. And not only that, but so what they would do is the legs of his bed were in water troughs. Why? In order to prevent ants from crawling up. This way ants couldn't get up. Because he didn't have arms and hands, he wouldn't be able to knock off or scratch off ants that came upon him. So they protected him by putting his bed, the legs of his bed in water, so now ants cannot crawl up. One time, when his bed was in this weak house, his students wanted to bring him out and then to come back and bring out his stuff because the house was going to topple. Amar Lahem, he said to them, Banai pnuas hakelim. He said, first remove the possessions from the house, and then take me out. But don't take me out before the possessions, because I can promise you, as long as I'm in the house, it won't fall over. Because of my merits, as long as I'm in the house won't fall over. But if you take me out, then it will fall over before you have a time to take out the stuff. So pinu es hakelim, v'achar kach pinu es mitaso. So indeed, they took out all the stuff, all the possessions from the house. Then they took out his bed, v'nafal habayis, and the house collapsed. Amr lo talmidav. So his student said, Rabbi, our teacher, v'chimei acher shetzadik gamorata. If you're such a great tzaddik, then your merit, is so great that the house won't fall. But as soon as you leave, the house falls. Lama also l'chakach. How is this? Why has this happened to you? How could it be that you are suffering so much? That you've lost both your arms, both your legs, you're blind, you're covered in boils. How could such a thing be? Amar lahem, he said to them, Banai, my children, ani garamti la'atzmi. I caused this to happen to myself. Shepam achas ha'yisi mahalech baderech. Because one time I was traveling on the road. L'beis chami, to the house of my father-in-law. V'haya imi masoi gimel chamorim. And I had with me a load, 3 loaded donkeys. Echad shel ma'achol, one was carrying food. V'echad shel mishtem, one was carrying drink. V'echad shel minim agadim, and one was carrying all kinds of sweets. Ba'ani echad ve'amad li baderech. A poor person came and stood in front of me on the way. Ve'amar li, and he said to me, Rabbi, parnaseini, Rabbi, give me something to support myself. Give me some food. Amarti lo, I said to him, Hamteng ad she'efrok min hachamar. Wait until I unload from the donkey. Lo ispakti lifrok min hachamar ad she'yatzta nishmaso. But the man was so weak and so starving that I didn't have time to unload the donkey before he died. Halachti v'nafalti upon him. I went and I fell on his face. V'amarti, and I said, apparently Nachum Ish Gamzu felt that he could have saved the man. He if he would have acted quicker, if he would have, I guess, if the stuff was on a donkey, I'm not sure, if he would have just taken something off without unloading the donkey first, he could have acted quicker, he could have saved the man's life, and he didn't. So I went and fell on his face, and I said, Einai shelo chasu aleinecha. These eyes that didn't have mercy on your eyes, yasumu, they should be blinded. Yadai shelo chasu al yadecha, and my hands that didn't have mercy on your hands, yiskadmu, they should be cut off. They should become stumped. Raglei shelo chasu al raglecha, and my legs that didn't have concern for your legs, yiskata, they should be cut off. V'lo niskara daiti, but it wasn't enough for me. Ad she'amarti, until I said kol gufi yemale shchin. My whole body should be covered in boils. That's why I suffer. I brought this upon myself. Now, what he's saying, Maharsha says, he's saying that God wouldn't have done this and punished me in this way. I didn't really do something wrong or so terrible. I tried to help the person. I didn't hurry fast enough. But a tzaddik like Nachum Ish Gamzu recognized that any suffering that he could experience here in this world rather than in the next world would give him a better share in the world to come. So he felt it's worth it. If I'm going to have to pay something for this, let me experience the suffering in this world so that my world to come is the full experience. And that's why he asked for this, and that's what he got. Amru lo, they said to him, Oyu lanu sherinucha bekach. Woe to us that we've seen you like this. That's what his student said to him. Woe to us, how can we see you like this? Amar lahem, he said back to them, Oyu lim lori suni bekach. Woe to me if I wouldn't see myself like this. He accepted the suffering with full faith, and he had asked for it, because he realized that this would help him. If he suffered in this world, he could have a greater portion in the world to come. That was the story of how he became to, how it happened that he ended up in such a difficult and painful position. Asked the Gemara, "V'amai karlei Nachum ish Gamzu?" Why was he called this? Nachum, the man of Gamzu, who also this. What does that even mean? The reason is, says the Gemara, de kol milsa to have a salkale, because anything that would happen to him, Amar, he would say, Gam zu latova. This too is for good. This too is for good. And that's why he was called Nachum ish Gamzu, because whatever would befall him, he would say, this too is for the good. Zimnachada bo ishtura Yisrael doron labe Kesar. There was one time where the Jewish people wanted to send a gift to the Caesar. They felt it was necessary to send him a gift. Amru, they said, Mani Yezel, who should go? Who should be the one to bring the gift? Yezel Nachum ish Gamzu. They should, who should go? Nachum ish Gamzu, to Melumad Benisin. Who? He's experienced with miracles. He's a miracle worker. Miracles happen to him. He has a tremendous merit. The one that should bring this treasure, this gift to the Caesar should be Nachum ish Gamzu. Shadra biyade male sifta da'avanim tovus margalios. So they sent him with a box full of valuable stones and pearls. Azal, he went basbahu dira, and he slept in a certain inn. Bilelia kamu hanach dirai v'shaklunu l'sifte umalunu afra. That night, the innkeepers came in, and they took the box, and they took all the jewels out of the box, and they filled it with dirt. Kimata Hasam, when he reached the Caesars, he didn't know that there was dirt in it. Sharinu Wasifta, they opened up the box, Chazinu Demalu Afra, and they saw it was full of dirt. Ba Malkulu Miktalinu Lakulu. The king, the Caesar, wanted to kill all the Jews. He said, this is a joke. Amar Kamachaychu biyudai. He said, the Jews are laughing at me. They're joking with me. They send me a gift, it's a box full of dirt. At that moment, Nachum ish Gamzu, right, should be shaking in his boots at this moment, right? And mourning and carrying out his errand. What could he do? But Amar, rather, he said, Gamzu l'tova. This too is for good. I don't know why this happened. But it's ultimately for the good. As Eliyahu, at that moment, Eliyahu Hanavi came. Idmi le'kechad minayu, and he made himself look like one of the guards of the Caesar. Amar le'em, he said to the Caesar, Dilma ha'afra, me afra davram avunhu. Maybe this dirt is special dirt. Maybe it's the same dirt from Avraham Avinu, from Abraham. Diki avashadi afra, that when he would throw the dirt, havu saife, swords would appear. And gili, when we would throw the straw, havu giri, arrows would come. T'chsiv, as the pasuk says, the pasuk describes in Yeshaya, yitin ka'afar charbo, he sends like dirt, his sword, kikash nidaf kashto, and his bow, his arrows flow like they fly like straw. So this, he's interpreting, the Gemara is saying that this was referring to a time when Avraham Avinu was fighting the war of the 4 kings against the 5 kings. He had divine assistance that he was able to fight with just dirt and straw. He would throw the dirt, it would turn to swords, and I guess stab the people, and he would throw straw, it would turn to arrows and stab his enemies. So Eliyahu Hanavi comes dressed as a guard, and he says, maybe this dirt is like the dirt of Avraham Avinu. There was a certain country, province, that the Romans were at that time unable to conquer. Batku minei, they tested this dirt on it, basically, vikavshua, and they were successful in conquering it because the dirt actually turned into swords. So he went, the Caesar went to his treasure houses and he filled up the box with precious stones and pearls. Bishadru biyakarab, and he sent Nachum Ish Gamzu back with great honor and with this box refilled full of jewels to bring back. Kiasu, when he returned, Besu Bahu Diura, he slept in the same inn as he had on the way. Amrulei, they said to him at the inn, My Isis Bahadach Da'avdilach Yikara Kulihai. They said, we heard what happened. What did you bring with you that they gave you such honor, that the Caesar honored you so much and sent you off with such honor and sent you up with riches? Amar Lahu, he said to them, My deshakli me'acha amti lahasam. What I took from here, I brought to there. What do you mean, what did I do? What did I give them? I gave them what I brought from here. So, Sasru Gadirayu. So they destroyed their house, their inn, because they wanted to be able to get to the dirt underneath, all the dirt that they can. Ve'amtinu lebei malka, and they brought the dirt to the Caesar. They brought all this dirt. They thought they would, make millions off of it. Amruei, and they said to the Caesar, Hayafra da'isi hacha mididanu. That dirt, that man, that Jew brought, it was ours. It was this dirt. Here it is. Here's a whole truckload of it. But Kua, they tested the dirt, and it didn't work for them. And so the Romans were not happy with these certain innkeepers, and they had them killed. But Nachum Ish Gamzu was known as Nachum Ish Gamzu, Nachum, the man who would say this too, because he would always say, whatever happened to him, whatever came his way, he would say, Gam Zu Latova, this too is for good. Hashem has a plan, and ultimately there is good that will come from whatever happens.